Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Burgundy Brigade podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Goff, at BRG Brigade Kevin, joined as usual by my good friend and co-host at Avalangelist on the Twitter, Aaron Music. Aaron, my friend, pretty good start to the year so far. How you doing?
Oh, it's been great. I love fall.
Fall has fallen. How is it out in Denver?
It's 60 degrees right now.
Oh, it seems to have improved then, because I saw so many things where people were talking about how basically summer gave way directly to winter.
Well, it's 60 degrees right now, and it's going to snow tonight into tomorrow.
Whew. Colorado. It's mild as mild can possibly be out here in Oregon.
Sounds like all the teams out in Oregon.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I know I'm not.
You're not wrong. Granted, they're mostly just college teams, so we do what we can out here in Oregon. So, the Avalanche have played 4 games into the 2018-2019 season. They sit at 3-1-0, very strong start. They have, I believe, a +8 goal differential at the moment. And unless something changed from the last day I saw things, they sit atop the Central Division with 6 points. Obviously, it's very, very early into the year. Still got 78 games to play, but really, it's hard to look at what's gone on and not be really, really pleased with what you've seen to this point. How have you felt about the first 4 games?
Very encouraged. I've never seen an Avalanche team completely run someone out of the building like they did Minnesota.
That was nice.
I mean, that game should have had 7 or 8 goals in it. It was only Devin Dubnyk being somewhat reliable that made it basically a 2-1 game until an couple of empty netters.
Yeah, I was thinking about that game a little after the fact where the Avs clearly dominated the play. You don't double up someone's shot total without doing that. 40 shots to Minnesota's 21. They owned the play start to finish. Minnesota was never dangerous. The one dangerous moment they had in the first period when Sam Girard had a couple of brain farts there in that first period, and they happened at exactly the same time, led to their only real goal. Varley was good in the little stretch in the third period where he had to be, but by and large, the Avs owned the game. But even though they owned the game, I don't think that they had a ton of particularly scary scoring chances. A lot of it still seemed to be very much to the outside. That and the real good chances that they did get, they managed to bury.
Well, being the first game, they were missing passes.
Yeah,
they were just. There's always a little bit of rust that you shake off the first game, and so especially the top line was just not connecting on a bunch of the passes that mid-season they'll be connecting on those, and that's dangerous.
Yes.
Or by mid-season, I mean this week.
Yeah, hopefully this week, definitely. You get a week into the season.
Last week they really clicked on their passes.
It started to get much better, granted, after that Columbus game, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I
thought the Philadelphia game was a step up.
The Philadelphia game absolutely was leaps. It was much better hockey all around. Excuse me, and in a couple of different ways because Philly came in and played a very solid game. They actually outshot the Avs. I want to say it was like 37-35, something like that in that game. It was very close, but there were a lot of shots. The Avs definitely got the better of the goal totals with a 5-2 victory there. They had that fun little weird play where Barberio tried to bury Varlamov.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's one of the weirdest plays I've ever seen live.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what Varley was thinking there.
There was just so much of a lack of communication that it looked like Barberio was just scrambling to help Varley out, covering the puck, and just knocked the hell into him.
Yeah, I mean, in the replay, it just it looked like it totally took him completely by surprise because the play was going to be icing. Barberio was well clear of the latest man that was coming there. It looked like he was just about to glide in and pick up the puck and turn around and glide down after the icing call. But then suddenly he looks back, and whoops, surprise! There's Varley.
Mm-hmm.
There's Varley, and about the only thing he could have done is to just die. It would have been to just like take a gigantic dive over him instead, and it just didn't work out there. And naturally, that goes onto a rookie's stick, and he gets his first NHL goal as a result.
I'm sure he'll remember that the rest of his life.
Absolutely. I got my first NHL goal on one of the weirdest things you will ever see. And fortunately, though, for the Avalanche, that didn't end up costing them anything. They ended up running away with the game at the end there. But again, played a really solid. They weren't great defensively in that game, but they certainly weren't all over the place bad. Again, Varley was good when he needed to be, but again, by and large, the defense did what it needed to do to let Varley see the shots, clear out rebounds. Philly was still dangerous at times, but as that game went, it was more and more the Avs game.
Yeah, and the way the Avs skate, they will actually take it more as the game goes along, because especially at home, teams will get tired playing at altitude, and so the Avs are just going to bowl people over in the third period. If it's an even game, if they're ahead, they'll kind of sit back just a little bit, just so that they can actually play smarter, clear out pucks, make them come the full distance. But it's about the most structured Avalanche team I've ever seen.
Yeah, in a very long while, for sure.
Everyone knows their assignment. They go about it. They do it. And the only time that they'll fall short is when they're not skating.
Yeah.
If they're not moving their feet, they will lose.
Yes.
Or at least, just because the system they're running is so predicated on skating, that if you're not doing it, the system doesn't work, and it's easier for teams to get it done, to get into the high danger areas, to possess the puck.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not skating, then obviously the pressure isn't there. They have that extra second to do what they need with it, and then that makes it that much harder on your goaltender.
Right.
And you don't want to make it hard on your goaltender. You want to make it easy on your goaltender. And then, of course, that brings us to the Columbus game, where the Avalanche didn't do any of those things.
And they learned a lesson early. I prefer they'd learn that lesson now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the start of the game, I thought there was a pretty even flow. Columbus had more quality chances early. The Avs had some offense going. They got some shots. They weren't really great shots, but things were going. And then it just kind of all started to unravel. They just got undisciplined. The penalties started to take. Then the legs just got real heavy, and before we knew it, it was 2-0 Columbus. That could have been 4-0 Columbus had it not been for Grubauer that game. He gave up 4 in that game, but I mean, hard to really blame him on anything.
And it's a team game, and you can't blame the goaltender when the team isn't playing.
No, absolutely.
If it's a shot that just they put their glove out and it goes underneath or over or things like that, then you can blame the goaltender. But none of those things happened.
No. I mean, the second period of that game obviously was by far their best. They came in, they rallied a little bit and tied the score in the second period there. Nathan McKinnon had a just insane shot between Landeskog's legs, top shelf, over Bobrovsky. And then, is that goal still Soderberg's?
It is still Soderberg's.
Interesting.
It should belong to Sam Girard.
Yeah, I was going to say, just looking at that replay, it doesn't look like Soderberg touches it, but apparently Soderberg touched it, and Soderberg got that power play goal to tie the game there. But then the third period was just, again, it was all Columbus. The Avs just couldn't get anything going, and as soon as they did get something going, Bobrovsky was there to shut the door and keep the lead for the Blue Jackets. So rough game, and of course Bednar was not happy after that game, and he really let the team know it.
Mm-hmm. He's fair. He'll tell them when they did something well, and he will be very adamant with their not playing to their level, to the level he expects them to play.
Yeah. Which brings us to Thursday, where the Avs went into Buffalo. And, Buffalo's kind of a deceptive team. I think that they're going to be a team that early in this season it's not going to be. They're not. They should not be a playoff team. They're just not going to be there. But there's a lot of talent on that team, but there's just so many new faces. There's no way they're together as a team yet, and it looked that way Thursday. The Avs were just leaps and bounds better all over them. The Avs had like 4 or 5 breakaways in that game,
and they really exerted their will against a young, inexperienced Buffalo team.
Yeah. And that's what you want to see them do. You want to see the Avalanche, who are looking to go from the echelon of a pretty meh team, but could still surprise you too. This is a good team. A good team that should be able to make some noise, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well. And if you're going to be that team, you need to go to a place like Buffalo, and you need to just have no mercy, and they didn't. Then they treated them exactly the way they should have, as an inferior team, and they ran away with it.
And to be a playoff team consistently, you need to play your game no matter what.
Yep.
Previous years, the Avalanche would play the other team's game.
Yeah.
If the other team wanted to skate, they'd skate. If the other team wanted to grind it out, they'd grind it out. And the Avs finally have their own identity, and they stick to it no matter what's happening. To a point that they're exerting their will on their opposition. Because there's about 4 teams, I think, that can maybe skate with the Avs.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if it's a road game. So, I'm already expecting this team to make the playoffs. It is good enough, deep enough to make it. If they were in a different division, I'd say they'd be top 3, but their division is just so tough.
Yeah. At some point, we're pretty sure everyone's expecting Winnipeg and Nashville to just start running away with it.
Yeah, I honestly think the Avs can stick with Winnipeg and Nashville just because the makeup of their team is very similar to those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that some of their inexperience on their middle line will catch up to them at some point, and they'll probably fight it out between Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Maybe Minnesota too. I haven't liked what I've seen from Minnesota early to start the year.
Yeah. I've liked it a lot.
Slow, they're not fit for the Central Division. I feel like the other teams are all quick.
I mean, they did this to themselves. They did this to themselves. I mean, you do that kind of ridiculous money to players, and
you draft. How many players do they have that you can say, oh yeah, they drafted them, they developed them?
Not
so
more
you
than you
have
probably
top
think.
Picks, and you can't develop your other picks. It's
Yeah.
really puts a lot of expectation on your money players,
Mm-hmm.
and those players are getting old.
Yes,
quick.
they are, and they look like they're getting old quick. It's just not a good situation out there in Minnesota, which of course makes me really happy. So I mean, 4 games through here, what's struck you from the team so far? What are the things that we have watched the Avs do that we go, yeah, we like that?
Secondary scoring.
Oh God,
they have a legitimate second line with Kerfoot, Wilson, and Jost. The third line is chipping in and scoring well, mostly because Soderberg is just manhandling and lifting everyone else up.
Yeah, he is. Oh my gosh.
Goaltending has specifically, I don't know that I've seen Semyon Varlamov as locked in as he is right now.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of him in the first couple of games. He's locked in sharp. To the point where it takes him not seeing it or a rebound for someone to beat him.
Right.
And the defense is doing a good job on the rebounds.
Yeah. Now, I will grant the goal he gave up in Buffalo was a softie. But I mean, again, the rest of the he also then came back and right at the end of that period, right when Buffalo nearly had another moment to pull back within 2, he just flashed a pad right across. That's not an easy save that he made there, post to post, a guy on top of his crease. He flashes the pad, makes a huge left pad save, keeps the 3-goal lead going into the period. So I'm with you. Varley has looked outstanding early on here. He has been. And to start a season, I agree with you. I don't know that I've seen him any more locked in through a first chunk of the
honestly,
season.
If this is the one we can get for the majority of the time, and he can stay away from injury, there's no doubt in my mind I would lock that guy up to a long-term extension as soon as I could.
Yeah. I mean, Varley's numbers thus far, 3 games, 3 wins, .955 save percentage. That's obviously not a sustainable number, but that's a great start. And a 1.33 goals against average. What more can you possibly ask for? And again, it's not like he's doing this in games where the Avs are being so lopsidedly outshot that you sit there and go, well, there's no way. I mean, sure, the Avs won the game, but there's no way to expect them to keep winning games if this is how they play. This is games where the Avs are even or ahead shot-wise the entire time. So he is making a difference.
Yep, and the other guy that's making the biggest difference, and I didn't expect it to be this quick, Sam Girard.
Oh, my God. Sam freaking Girard. That guy. I mean, I didn't know what to expect at the start of this year. He's still what? He's still 19. Might be 20.
Is he 19 or did he turn 20?
Either way, he's on that 19-20 cusp, one way or the other. 20 years old. He's 20 years old. Never really played top pairing in his life, aside for when he was in the NHL, anyways, except for being thrown into it during the playoff stretch right there when all the other Avs top D-men were hurt. And I tell you, I didn't know if he'd be able to handle it right away. Not only has he handled it, he is flourishing.
He's playing with EJ. And doesn't look out of place.
Not at all.
In fact, he almost looks better than EJ sometimes.
It's unreal. The passing, the awareness, and the solidness of his defense. I mean, aside from his,
he's so strong that people can't actually move him the same way they could last year.
And he's explosive now too. Last year his little spinorama move would give him a little bit of separation, but now he's using the spinorama to propel himself into scoring situations, and it's like the little sequence that was shown in the preseason stuff was my first one of going, oh my God, after the Minnesota game in the preseason. And he's carried over into the regular season. He's making passes that guys just aren't expecting, and they're going to start expecting it. And pretty soon, Sam Girard's going to be an immense catalyst in helping the Avs open the floodgates.
And he is the perfect pairing for Erik Johnson. He does all the little things very well. He understands his role. He communicates very well. I love him. And I love him with EJ because that is a dynamic pairing.
Yeah, they're both outstanding skaters. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's so funny to watch EJ. You can just see that EJ's having a little issue getting out of the zone here. Just give it over to Sammy and watch him do his thing.
Yep. I feel like the Avs are on the cusp of having a game. They already have a game changer at center. But I feel like they're on the cusp of having a game changer on defense now.
Yeah, so I'm with you. Sammy G, as people are taking to call him, has been stellar, and man, I can't wait to see what he continues to do because this.
I call him DJ Sammy G because we all know how well he spins.
I like it. Let's talk a little bit about Colin Wilson because this is not the same Colin Wilson that was on the Avalanche last year.
No, it's like they found a different one on that island.
I put out on Twitter, I was like, when did this trade happen? I mean, I thought they would advertise that more because this is not the same Colin Wilson that was here on the team last year. He has been outstanding playing with Jost and Kerfoot.
And he's been the best part of that line.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, I'd amend that. He's been the second best part. The best part has been Alex Kerfoot.
Yeah. Kerfoot's been very good. I will definitely give him that. I don't know. It's hard to...
Kerfoot's been really, really sneaky good away from the puck.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of plays that just clears the puck out of the zone. And he does it in a way that the other player's going, what the heck happened? I thought I had this puck.
Yeah.
This is unfair, man.
I mean, back with Wilson, I mean, he just his skating, it looks completely different. Like he's got
like the renaissance that Carl Soderberg had last year.
He's got a burst. I know he dealt with a lot of injuries last year. That was very well documented, and he finally seems to be healthy again. And it looks it. I mean, the guy's got a burst in his stride now that was not there last year. He's taking people by surprise with his speed right now.
Yeah, and he's got a good amount of strength with it too.
Yeah.
And he almost plays the same role on that line that Landeskog plays on the first line.
Mm-hmm.
Just get into the dirty areas and see if you can score.
Yep.
Let the other two younger, more talented guys just go around you and have fun.
I mean, he had 6 goals through 56 games all last season. He's already got 3 goals in 4 games so far. So he's got half of his total from a year ago already.
So 50-goal scorer Colin Wilson's going to be a thing?
Hey, let's do it.
And we've already got 80-plus goal scorer Nathan McKinnon on the team.
At the moment, absolutely. Can't talk about the success of the team right at the moment without talking about Nathan McKinnon at the moment. He and Mikko Rantanen both are having their way.
Yep, they picked up right where they left off. And they're
yeah.
Oh, yeah. You think this... Because it's hard to remember that they didn't start well last year.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the October 28th game against the Blackhawks, after that 7-1 shellacking at the hands of the Golden Knights. The next night, they came in and they just dominated the Blackhawks. Said, okay, we're just going to take this now. You can either trail along behind or you can watch. Either way, we're fine.
Rantanen currently leads the team in scoring with 7 points, 1 goal and 6 assists.
Get paid.
Yes, he is. That boy is gonna get some money. Nathan McKinnon, right behind him with 6 points, leads the team in goals with 5 goals in 4 games, 1 assist. We'll see those assist numbers jump, I'm sure, as the year continues to go through.
Well, Mikko has to start scoring goals at some point, and who do you think is going to be passing the puck to him?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Eventually, teams are going to go, no, we can't let McKinnon score. So he's just going to pass to the wide open Rantanen, and they're like, oh shit!
What about that guy? What? Wait a minute. It was just
you know who's almost kind of just becoming forgotten on this team, and I don't want to say forgot quite the same way. Tyson Barrie.
Yeah.
Had his first 2 points last game, and between everything else that's going right, and Sam Girard and Cale Makar had 4 points last night in UMass.
Yep.
And Tyson Barrie is going, so hi guys.
Yeah. Very true. He I mean, we'll get to this. He has not stood out very much in a positive way throughout the start of the season.
He starts slow anyway, but there's also a little more pressure on him, I feel like.
Well, sure, absolutely. He's kind of fighting for his future here to see what's gonna be going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, any other guys there's so much good in the start of this year for the Avs that it's. I mean, looking down the score sheet here. Like you said, secondary scoring. We've got Carl Soderberg's got 5 points. Alex Kerfoot has 5 points. Colin Wilson has 3 points. EJ's got 4 points. Comfer has 3 points in 4 games. Girard has 3 points in 4 games. I mean, people are. It's not just the top line. Yeah, the top line's getting theirs too, but it's coming throughout the lineup.
Mm-hmm. They're not carrying the team as much as they were last year.
To this point, for sure, absolutely, and that's what we all said. If the Avs want to take that next step, this has got to happen. You can't just force the top line to do it night in and night out. It's all right to let the top line do it night in and night out and still contribute a little bit more throughout.
The more that they can contribute, the less the teams can actually key on the top line in the hopes of shutting down your entire offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll still key on that top line in the hopes of limiting your offense.
Of course. I mean, it'd be great. It's great to try to get if they can get to that spot where teams basically have to pick their poison.
Right.
Who are we going to let? Who are we going to say? All right, you have to be the one to beat us.
Yeah, and then Jack Hughes is going to be on the third line going, woo!
Oh, we can hope so. So we've talked a lot about the positives, and that's, of course, we want to celebrate the positives because there's a lot of good stuff going on right now. But are there some guys that at this point have kind of underperformed or not done so great to this point for you? I'm
going to call it back to another player that's impressed me.
Okay.
Because there's not much that you really will see stats-wise. Ian Cole has no points, but he's really good for that middle pairing. His communication, his skating, he's really good on the penalty kill. He's a lot more physical than any of the other defensemen, save for Zadorov. And I feel like he actually makes the unit a little more cohesive, brings a lot of that veteran element to it, but he can still play.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that I feel like I need to see more from, number one is Matt Nieto. Carl Soderberg is dragging him up and down the ice. He's not doing well. He only has an assist, which is fine, but I just don't see him skating it very hard. I don't see him making an impact on any part of the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Calvert doesn't have a point, but I've seen him make an impact. His penalty killing is incredible.
Calvert's looked great. Calvert has looked fantastic.
Mark Barberio and Nikita Zadorov, those two just kind of... The entire bottom pairing defensemen are still just looking to gain traction for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Zadorov. His minutes are down. He's still playing the same kind of game, but it doesn't look like the coaches trust him quite yet. Not in the same way that they trust some of the others.
Yeah,
that just gives me pause.
No, I agree. I mean, Zadorov is such an interesting cat. Because again, the guy, the skill set that he brings is so valuable that when he is playing his best, you want him out all the time because he can. I mean, he's all over the ice in that sense. He's clearing things out. He's springing chances. He's creating chances of his own, and he's also decapitating people. But he has definitely shown, like, to this point in his career, he's shown some issues with consistency in his game, and we're seeing those again, I think, at the start of the year here. This guy still has issues in his own zone when there's a play going on behind the net, trying to center out front. He just stands and stares back at the guy behind the goal line, and is almost completely unaware about what's happening in the danger zone there, right in front of the net. And you saw that on Columbus's first goal, where he was just, I mean, if he's even slightly aware of the fact that Foligno is coming down hard on that scoring area right there, all he has to do is alter his positioning a little bit and stand in that passing lane. But he just doesn't do it. He's just flat-footed looking. And I don't know when that's gonna click for him, but it's gotta happen soon.
And the Avs finally have depth to push him down.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think he would need to be pushed down at this point because again, last year, a lot of the time last year, we saw what he can be, where he can just assert himself And where players will be coming down the wing on him and go, nope, I'm going to go ahead and take a change instead of risking this. Where they just see that it's him and go, yeah, live to fight another day.
And with Zadorov, it took him a little bit of time to get going last year too.
Yeah.
He showed up out of shape, and then he's been dealing with a shoulder injury this offseason. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that plays a factor just a little bit. His conditioning isn't the same to the level that Bednar wants it to be.
It seemed that his conditioning was right where it needed to be during camp.
That's what it seemed to be, but there's just something. There's something going on there that I'm not sure what's happening. But the team, the coaches just don't trust him the same way that they need to, the same way that they did last year.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets things a little bit more rounded out here and stabilized. So that exactly, because he shouldn't be a guy that only gets 15, 14 minutes a night, and that's all he's getting right now. And honestly, it's hard to say that he should be getting any more. I mean, he looked a little bit better in Buffalo, and I still don't know that he necessarily had much. Let me look at those. No, he was at about 16 minutes in Buffalo, and his penalty against Middlestat was BS. In my opinion, Middlestat turns his back last second. That I know Riker gets riled up about that, and I'm the same way. I'm just like, how can you? What do you expect the guy to do? What do you expect the guy to do? He's committed to a hit, and the guy turns his back at the last second to try to get a boarding call thrown against him. It's absolute horse crap, and there's got to be something done about that too, because at that point you're putting yourself in danger. I'd love to see a ref skate up to a guy and be like, "You did it to yourself, buddy."
It's like the person that walks into the side mirror of a car. How did you not see that one coming?
Yeah, exactly. What did you think was going to happen? I
mean, you literally saw your face coming at you.
Man. Well, let's see. The Avs draw I almost said the Columbus Blue Jackets again. The Calgary Flames tonight. I'm all Columbus up today, and I don't know why. The Avs have the Calgary Flames tonight. Calgary is 2-2, I believe.
I believe so.
And just kind of in the middle of the pack in the Pacific there right now. But again, Calgary has a lot. Calgary's got a lot of good talent on that team. There's some interesting things happening there. Like Sam Bennett is now like getting 8 minutes of ice a night.
Wow. With that much ice, you would think he has a sprained ankle or something.
I don't know. But it's an interesting setup up there. So again, the Avs are at home again, coming off a nice win in Buffalo. It's hockey night in Canada, so it's a later game tonight. They got to do the same thing they did to Buffalo. They want to go. One of the things they've been doing all year, they've been doing a good job jumping on teams early.
And I would say do the same thing you did with Philadelphia. Expect that sort of game plan.
Yeah.
Philadelphia will come at you and they'll play a really physical game. You've got to actually outspeed them and speed up your decision making. Mm-hmm. They have Monahan, who has 5 points. Elias Lindholm, who they traded for, he has 5 points. Johnny Gaudreau, 7 points. Matthew Tkachuk also has 7 points. Their forwards are going to be the most dangerous part. Giordano might be the defenseman you watch out for, but most of the action is going to happen around the net. So it's important for the Avs to clear the puck, not get trapped in their own zone, and actually use their transition game to their advantage.
Yep. Mike Smith is still the goalie up there.
Yep, but he's not starting tonight.
Is he not? Oh, so it's going to be Riddick or whoever it is?
Yep.
Had a good one game of action. He stopped all eight shots he faced. He must have relieved.
He came in for relief of Smith.
Yeah. So it'll be young guy. That's always the thing that you want to take advantage of as a team facing a young goalie. You want to get in his face early and you want to make it hard for him.
I really like the defense that Calgary can marshal. Giordano, Stone, Brody, Hniffen, Valimaki, and Honick. They
had a busy off season.
They really did. They kind of remade a chunk of their team. Dougie Hamilton was gone. Elias Lindholm was in. So is Noah Hniffen, 5th overall pick in the Nathan McKinnon draft.
Mm-hmm. James Neal was a signing from the offseason.
And James Neal, from Vegas.
This is a good team.
And I have no problems. I would have no problem seeing Calgary in the playoffs, just because the Pacific is a little weaker, and I feel like they have a chance.
Yeah,
I just don't know yet, though.
Yeah, obviously some teams when teams make big changes, it takes a little while to see exactly who they're going to be in the season, and we're definitely not there yet.
They needed to make those changes.
Absolutely.
It was either make the changes or plan on a higher pick.
Yep.
And you don't know what exactly you're doing.
Yep. It's going to be interesting as we all discover who Calgary is this year. Hopefully the Avs will still kind of be able to take advantage of them needing some time to come together as a team early in the year here, the same way they did with Buffalo.
And I'm hoping that they can do things with Matthew Tkachuk, because he's been shown to be undisciplined at times.
Yeah. I would like if Landeskog would go ahead and not cross-check him in the head.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, make sure you get your money's worth.
Yeah, well, if he does it again, he'll be suspended for 5 games.
Right. By get your money's worth, I mean do it in a way that is safe and legal.
Yeah.
And whatever.
There you go. There we go. Kind of one of the other cool things the Avs are doing tonight, and you'll probably know a little bit more about this than I will, of course, not being as close, is the Avs are doing it's girls' night tonight at Pepsi Center.
Yeah,
with all kinds of things going on.
It's a night in celebration of women's hockey, both in the area and overall. There's a preseason matchup between 2 women's local hockey teams, and they're having different giveaways, different themes. And Lauren Gardner is doing the PA announcing, because Roach is out in Minnesota right now.
Come on, Roach.
Well, when the Vikings ask you to do your public announcing and you can still do most of the Avs games, you say yes.
Yeah, I know. And he's a Minnesota boy, I believe. So.
Yes, he is. He's proof that good things.
Wanting to do kind of a new thing with the goal, and when she gets to announce a goal, she wants the fans to get involved to do the Avalanche goal part of it. So hopefully people have seen that and will get in with that and help her out. I think that's a cool, kind of a cool thing to add in there.
Yeah, I really wish I was going tonight. It sounds like it'll be a fun night.
I mean, and obviously the league is looking to grow the game of hockey in a lot of ways, and in many ways. And one of the
looking to grow the local markets, especially the local women's market.
Yeah, and one of the best ways to do that is to go ahead and continue to encourage young women to pick up a stick and put on a pair of skates and get out there and learn the game and fall in love with the game.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a fun night. Hopefully people get out there and enjoy the whole thing.
It'll be one of those cold nights that you just go to a hockey game because it feels like a hockey game should be played.
That's right. Let's see. I mean, I feel like we got to slow down on the Kool-Aid drinking here with the Avalanche, because it's been a really positive start.
Well, we're not saying that. We're not like Toronto saying that they're going to break the Orr and Gretzky records and they're going to win the Cup and the parade's going to be great and it's going to be a yearly thing. No, we're just saying that they're playing well, that there's definitely some improvement. This is what they need to do to keep doing well, to keep going in the right direction, and we're excited in the direction the team is heading.
Yeah.
It's not really Kool-Aid. That's just honest assessment.
Fair.
It would be one thing if we went, well, that Columbus thing, it was just a one-time thing. They got it out of their system. They go win people. No, we're actually honest about that. When they don't skate, they don't win, and they've been skating for 3 games. So
Yeah.
Whatever is going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the way that this is going.
It's good. I mean, and the Avs are going to have to keep this level of play up in the early portion of the season here because they have a lot of road games coming up. The Avs are obviously home tonight, but they go right back out east for a 4-game swing through the Rangers, who do not look good. The Devils.
It's rebuilding. Devils are a little uninspired to start.
Carolina, and then back out to Philly before coming back for 2 more against Tampa, then Ottawa. Then they're right back out on the road against Minnesota, Calgary, and Vancouver. Get 1 game at home for Nashville, then they go back out again to Winnipeg and Edmonton. So they've got a lot. I mean, they still got 4 more road games towards the end of November. So it's a pretty heavy road swing right here. So I mean, it's good that it's happening earlier in the year. Everyone's fresh, everyone's healthy. So and it's a great time. It's always a great. You always hear the players talk about how they love getting out on the road early in the year so they can come together as a team and all that.
Yeah, it's nice to have them bond.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not an easy stretch, and as we've seen, sometimes the Avs can play against teams that they should handle pretty easily and play down. And they didn't do that against Buffalo, so let's hope they don't do that as they go forward. And there's not a lot that's too much. There's not. It's still the NHL, so playing down is still not. Even the bad teams aren't really significantly worse.
Yeah, and the Avs have to keep the mindset that they still have a lot to prove. Nothing to say, a lot to prove.
Yep, absolutely. They've absolutely got to do it.
And to be perfectly honest, it's them, it's the Nuggets, and it's the Sea Buffaloes. Everything else in this town sucks right now.
Yeah. It is not... I'm not even going to watch the Broncos this weekend.
Oh, no. No. Except for to watch Todd Gurley, run for 300 yards and get you a win against someone
hopefully.
that you're talking to right now.
Hopefully. Hey, I mean that other league that we're in, I ended up with like 170 points and lost to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a freakish league right there. I don't like that.
It's a Frankenstein freaky league.
It's scoring is weird there. I'm not a huge fan of that.
We're both in a 1-4 adjustment. That league.
Exactly. I'm feeling like the Broncos in that league. It's just like, except I'm having a lot of games where my team is playing well.
Yeah, but did you have a good week of preparation?
I had an excellent week of preparation. Oh, man. Oh, it is a fun time. It's an interesting time in Colorado right now, where the Denver Broncos are pretty much on the bottom of the totem pole.
Yep, enjoy it. I enjoy the hell out of it, actually.
Yep. So I don't know. I mean, this may be one of our shortest episodes in history. But I mean, is there any other stuff you feel like we got to cover here?
No.
I mean, really, the only other thing I might mention is just another big plus that we didn't really touch on from the Avs is how well not just the power play, but specifically the second power play unit has been playing.
Mm-hmm. Well, that taps into secondary scoring.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
And Sam Girard, so we've covered it. And huzzah.
And huzzah. I mean, PK, again, has only given up 1 power play goal against. Things are looking real. I mean,
everything's coming up Millhouse.
And again, it's not being done in such a way where you then look at a lot of the shot share or advanced stats and go, well, this is going to come back to earth pretty quick.
What's structured and sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
Bednar is the first coach that it's common to tire up a coach after a while, especially considering the way that he started.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really like the nuanced approach he has to players. I like how fair he is. I like how even keel. He won't get too high. He will make his point when they don't play well, but other than that, He's
very studious, too. I mean, I forget which game. It might have been the opening game of the year. but there was one where someone was asking him about power play stuff against, and he went on this. He had a very interesting answer where he was talking about power play analytics, where they were trying to get it to a point where they can be predictive, of where the shots against are going to come from. And
they're trying to get it to a place where Varlamov has the highest save percentage.
Yeah. Just it was a very interesting response because, I mean, I don't know that I've heard too many coaches really talk about the penalty kill in that type of way before.
He's a different kind of coach. I feel he's not quite the Sean McVay of coaches, but he's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
New approach, innovative and successful.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, man, there it is. I mean, this is going to be an under 50-minute podcast episode. How do you like that?
Just the hands off. Time to go drinking.
Right on. Well, hope you enjoyed the start of the season, the early returns here that we are seeing from the Avalanche. Avs Twitter Psychic for tonight. Who you got?
Well, they're playing the Flames. The Lauren Gardner is doing the PA, so I'm going with the flaming red-haired JT Compton.
I thought that's where you were going. I enjoy it. All right, I'm going to go. He got his first goal last game. He looked real good the rest of that game. As you clearly saw, the confidence was got a boost for him. So I'm going to give my Avs Twitter Psychic to one Tyson Jost.
Nice. Going with the Joesty with the mosty.
The Joesty with the mosty. Right on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy the Avs game tonight, and we will talk to you soon. And, yeah, go Avs.